Good afternoon, everyone. Joe Cioffi here, Weather in 5 on this, the 30th day of May. And tonight on the Joe and Joe Weather Show, which will have a slightly later start, we will talk about severe weather in the western plains, dry conditions that are continuing in much of the Northeast and back into the Ohio Valley, and we'll also look ahead to the weekend. So that's tonight at 7:45 p.m. Eastern Time on the Joe and Joe Weather Show. And Weather in 5 brought to you by Omni True Value Hardware at 1226 North Wellwood Avenue in West Babylon, New York. Get in your truck and get over there to get all the mulch and topsoil you need. 631-756-1125 is the phone number. The website, omnitruevalue.com. And Tempest by WeatherFlow. Get the revolutionary Tempest weather system and join the fastest growing observing weather network on the planet. The referral link is on the descriptor to this video, and if you use the coupon code Joe and Joe Weather Show on anything you purchase there, you will get 10% off. So, looking at what's going on today, we had this backdoor cold front that came through yesterday during the day from New England that dropped southward, and it got a little bit on the windy side, especially along the coast when that front went by, turned the winds around to the east, and we're still dealing with this onshore flow. But someone asked me today, well, how come we're not sitting in doom and gloom with the onshore flow? Well, for one thing, it depends on the position of the high. And the high is not that far to our north and east relative to, say, New Jersey and Pennsylvania, Long Island, and southern New England. It's sitting in the Gulf of Maine. So the air around it is basically dry. Also, where the marine influence becomes a problem is when you go further south, closer to the frontal boundary of that backdoor cold front. It's very weak. It runs into North Carolina and then swings around, and you see these broken lines along what was a solid line cold front. When you see the lines broken like that, it's telling you that based on the analysis that the front is actually beginning to weaken. But it is producing cloud cover there, and when you look at the satellite, you see where all the clouds are lined up. So it's gloom and doom in the southern Delmarva Peninsula, much of the southern half of Virginia into northern North Carolina. But in the Northeast, it's nice. Got clear skies from Maine down into southern New Jersey. That's where the edge of some of the clouds are, and they're starting to fall apart. There was a lot of smoke around this morning showing up on the satellite loop. That seems to have ebbed a bit going into this afternoon, so that's good news. But we're still dealing with this smoky condition from the Canadian wildfires, although when we look at the U.S. satellite loop, it's a lot less out to the west over the Great Lakes and the Northern Plains. So that's another positive here. Maybe we're done with the worst of that. And in the meantime, you see the clouds that are off the Carolinas backing westward. They're not moving northward, so they're not an issue. We are going to see some severe weather today out in parts of the Western Plains. That hasn't fired up yet. There's a little bit of rain, southern Delmarva, southeastern Virginia, and just off the northeastern coast of North Carolina. Also a few showers to the west there in North Carolina, but not much in the way of activity on the radar as of 1:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Enhanced risk of severe weather in the Western Plains, although the tornado risk is less than 2%. But we have this narrow area of slight to enhanced risk from northern northwest Texas northward through eastern Colorado, western Kansas, and on up into southwestern Nebraska. That is for tonight into tomorrow morning. And then for the daytime Wednesday, we're looking at same area pretty much, slight risk being indicated, 2% tornado risk being indicated for tomorrow. And for day 3, guess what? Same area, smaller area of marginal risk. And of course, we've got nothing going on here. This carries us, by the way, on this last day is Thursday into Friday. And the rainfall that's being forecast over the next 7 days by WPC is little or nothing in central and southern New England, back westward into Ohio and around the Great Lakes. We're talking in those light green areas. That's only a 100th to a 10th of an inch. So a large part of the eastern United States will not see much in the way of rainfall. The exceptions will be up in Maine, where it's about a quarter to a half an inch, and also in central and southern Florida, where we're talking about an inch and a half to as much as 3 or 4 inches over the next week, and in the southern plains and up through the western plains and into the northern Rockies, we have anywhere from 3/4 of an inch to an inch and a half, except North Texas, western Oklahoma, and southwest Kansas, where we could see several inches of rain or more there. So there's not really a whole lot new here with respect to the weather going forward. We're still going to have the onshore flow into Wednesday, although it will tend to relax a little bit. I'm going to switch maps here so you can see the isobars a bit better. We are going to see that onshore flow relax a little bit. So we'll see temperatures edge up a little higher tomorrow, say mid-70s to around 80, 60s right along the coast. The high reforms over Pennsylvania on Thursday. The onshore flow weakens considerably. That will allow temperatures to start rising. I think we'll be in the mid-70s to low 80s from coast to inland areas on Thursday. And Friday, we could be well up into the 80s to around 90 as winds, especially inland, may try and go more westerly. Now, as far as rain is concerned, we do have a weather front that's backing southward Friday night into Saturday morning. With that, there could be some showers, maybe a thunderstorm or two as it goes by. You see the high up to the northeast. The front will be sagging southward. So Friday will be the one hot day. Saturday we'll have some leftover warm air. But by the time we get to Sunday, Sunday should be a good day with plenty of sunshine and temperatures probably in the 70s to around 80 degrees. As far as substantial rain is concerned coming into the northeast, we don't really see any big chances of that happening anytime soon. There's another weather front that's going to come through early next week, probably maybe late Monday or Tuesday, and behind that is actually a fairly decent shot of cool air that's going to be moving into the Great Lakes and into the Northeast for the middle and latter part of next week. And some of that cool air is actually going to spread down pretty far south into the Gulf states. So the pattern is really not all that favorable for any kind of widespread rain. I know things are starting to get very dry, especially from western New Jersey through Pennsylvania and points westward. So I don't really see much relief coming to that, to those areas anytime soon. And there's nothing really to worry about in the tropics as we head to the last days of May and move into the first days of June. So we'll see you all tonight on the Joe and Joe Weather Show, and that's at 7:45 p.m. Eastern Time.